It's no secret that Indians love their SUVs, so it only makes sense that India's largest manufacturer should cash in on the craze with their latest offering. We did see it as the concept a couple of years ago at the Auto Expo, and here it is finally in the flesh, the S-Presso. The S-Presso follows the new trend of a slim grille that's fitted with angular chrome elements and the Maruti logo emblazoned in the center. The toothy-looking grille merges into the headlamps and the DRLs are positioned below them, lower on the bumper. The air dam and the lower half of the bumper are blackened out. It's also a squared-off bonnet and an upright A-pillar with the strong wheel arches that give it the required SUV look. The wheels are 14-inch, but the large gap of the wheel well makes them look small, and the rear just looks like a hatch. The stance is a bit awkward, and overall I'm not a fan of the way the S-Presso looks on the outside, but that opinion certainly changes once I'm inside. The interior of the S-Presso is quite quirky and funky. There are lots of cuts and curves on this dashboard. It's got body-colored highlights around the AC vents and around this attention-grabbing central part of the console, which is very mini-like. It houses the speedometer right here in the center. You've also got the touchscreen info display that comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Below that, you have the manual controls for the AC and a lot of storage area. There are also a lot of features. Let's take a look. On the safety front, the S-Presso is based on the hardtech platform, which means it meets the latest safety norms. It also gets other safety features. Let's take a look. So first up, sitting in the S-Presso, it's a nice elevated seating position. So you get a commanding view of the road, and it does give you that SUV-like feel. But there is no seat height adjust, so while this elevated position may be great for someone that's my height, I think for taller people, the top of the windscreen will impede in their line of vision. The seats themselves are comfortable and the cabin feels spacious. The S-Presso has a reasonable boot as well for a car of its size. Powering the S-Presso is Maruti's BS6 compliant 1-litre K10B petrol engine that puts out 68 HP and 90 Nm of torque. It's mated to a 5-speed manual and an AMT or AGS as Maruti like to call it. So the S-Presso is the first of Maruti's cars to get the BS6 version of the K10 engine. And at the outset, it's a nice refined engine. Power delivery from this engine is very evenly spread across the range, and that's what makes it really easy to drive. We opted to try the AMT first. The engine has enough power, but what makes really light of driving is the AMT. Upshifts and downshifts both come really easily with minimal hesitation. In fact, this is one of the better AMTs we have driven. Cutting through city traffic, the S-Presso feels agile. The steering is light to use and the turning circle is good, so you won't need 3-point turns unless the road is really narrow. As we headed out of Jodhpur and onto the highway, the engine surprised us with its capability there too. It breathes easily and it's always ready to serve up power, but out on the highway, the AMT does take its time. Now, as you get out on open stretches of road, you'll notice that the AMT does shift up quite quickly. But if you want to overtake something and you want a sudden burst of power, you will have to press hard down on the accelerator, because if you're gentle with the throttle, then it tends to carry a gear and lose power before it actually shifts down. So gradual acceleration doesn't work for quick overtakes. You really have to push hard. But even here, the hesitation from the AMT is minimal, and once you floor the throttle, the shift comes quick enough. The other way around this is to flip it into manual mode, of course, and then it offers shift down on demand. We did drive the manual car as well, and we found that it felt quite different. The performance feels more sprightly for sure. We drove it both in city and out on the highway. Let's begin with the way it felt in the city. The manual is very easy to drive. Power is spread so evenly that you really don't have to work it too hard. You don't have to work the gears too much. Even in a higher gear, if you slow down, all you have to do is put your foot down. It just gets a move on so easily. But talking of gears, even if you do have to work the gearbox, it's light, it's easy, so is the clutch. So this is a really city-friendly car. Although the AMT is good and it makes city driving a breeze, the manual would still be my choice because it does feel more responsive. The fact is, even in the manual, you really don't have to use the gears that much in stop-start conditions, and so it also feels effortless. And if you do have to take the S-Presso out on long drives, you'll find that it is surprisingly good even out on the highways. It's got more than enough power. On the highway, you notice the S-Presso is a light car and it doesn't feel tough, but it's stable and the steering also has good on-center feel. So it inspires enough confidence to get up to triple-digit speeds and cruise comfortably. The roads we drove on were dead straight, but around the few longer corners we did feel the height of the car and the roll. However, I'm going to reserve comment on handling till we do a proper test. So to sum it up, the experience behind the wheel of the S-Presso is one that is quite pleasing. And now let's find out how it is for passengers in the back. As far as space goes, the back seat of the S-Presso is quite roomy. I have Jay, who's 6 feet tall, driving me. I'm 5'3" seated behind him, and there is lots of leg room. The good thing is that the seat is also quite high up, so there's lots of space to stretch your legs out underneath it. In fact, I can get my legs absolutely straight out. The floorboard is flat too, so there is enough space for the third passenger. Might be a bit of a tight squeeze width-wise, but there is enough legroom for that third passenger. What makes it feel more spacious is the fact that you sit high up, so you have good visibility. There's a nice large window area and the roof is high as well. Now, as long as you're at low speeds, the ride quality is really good. Bump absorption is nice, so it feels really comfortable. But as you pick up the pace, there's a lot more vertical movement in this back seat and you do feel the firmness as well. The S-Presso may not grab eyeballs, but as they say, never judge a book by its cover. Once you get inside the S-Presso, it impresses with its funky interior, good quality of materials, its spaciousness, and also the ease of driving that it offers. It may be priced a little higher than its outright rivals, but it is a refined, well put together product that comes with the peace of mind of a Maruti badge. So if you're in the market for a budget car, the S-Presso is definitely one you should look at.